What's up, everybody? It's me, Ronald Young Jr. And before we get started today, I wanted to remind you that we're in the middle of our Patreon drive for Leaving the Theater. You may have heard me mention this before, but this podcast is entirely independent, which means we don't get a production budget from anywhere except my pockets. So if you enjoy the show and want it to continue consistently, please consider joining the Patreon. It helps to pay for studio time and distribution fees, as well as booking event space for our live shows coming up later this year. And speaking of live shows, when you join the Patreon, you get access to a code that gets you 50% off tickets. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. Most of all, know that contributing to the Patreon is something that you can feel good about because it directly impacts the show. If you're ready to help, go to the show notes and click the link, or go to patreon.com/leavingthetheater right now. That's patreon.com/leavingthetheater, or again, go to the link in our show notes. All right, let's start the show. According to every rumor and news article I've read online, this should be the last of the original DC Extended Universe films. It's Jason Momoa in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm leaving the theater. All right, this is Ronald, and I am leaving the theater after seeing Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, written by David Leslie Johnson-McGoldrick, directed by James Wan, starring Jason Momoa, Patrick Wilson, Amber Heard, Yahya, Abdul-Mateen, and Nicole Kidman. For a complete cast listing, as always, you can go to the link in our show notes. I'm here alone. And it's a shame because, wow, this movie was trash. I have no one to talk about this with except you. So I'm going to talk directly to you, listener, and tell you how terrible this movie was. This is one of the last of the DC Extended Universe movies of the first iteration. Originally they had all these ones, Henry Cavill's Superman and all those other folks that came out. Y'all watched all the DCEU movies that came out, and there was Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and Ezra Miller's Flash with all those problems. All of those movies. This is the end. This supposedly is the end of this, and now James Gunn has come in, and he is now the president of whatever the new DCEU is going to be. He's helping to reboot what they have now, which means that a lot of these movies are just their last attempt to make money, to fill the coffers and continue the path forward for the DCEU, which in whatever next iteration it is, it very much feels like that. I watched a movie that was very stupid, way too much CGI. I didn't like Jason Momoa's acting. I don't think I like Jason Momoa's acting. I don't. He's I used to like The Rock, and now I don't like The Rock's acting as much anymore. I like The Rock as a human, to be clear. If he ever hears this, I like him as a human. But I feel like his acting has gotten very one note. And I just feel like it used to be better. I just feel like it's gotten to a place where he just kind of shows up, does a movie, and then goes back to being the mayor of everywhere. And Jason Momoa just feels like has this very unearned confidence, except from being, a massive guy with long hair. Oh my God, I'm hating already. Except for being this massive guy with long hair, I'm like, what exactly does he bring to the table? Who fakes charisma through being tall with long hair, who kind of fabricates a personality out of that. I just don't really see what everyone else sees when they see him. I kind of enjoyed him in Game of Thrones. I think that was a role that made the most sense, because I felt like he wasn't trying to be like this goofball bruh all the time, and I'm not here for it. So seeing him in this movie, they start off with the voiceover, and it's like, yeah, things have changed, and I'm a father now, and I'm the king of Atlantis, and it's so dumb. Like it's dumb. It's just dumb. I don't know. And I think I'm done with superhero. I think I'm like tired of superhero movies, even the Marvel ones. And I've been a Marvel fanboy for a long time, but it's just been a while since I walked in and been like, I think this movie's going to be good. They're just not good anymore. And DC was already way behind Marvel. This made up no ground. They're just bad. They got to go chase the thing, because if you don't get the thing, then the thing's going to melt the earth. And then, like, I'm sitting there watching it, I'm like, I don't know. And I got to break my brother out of prison to help us get the thing, because if we don't get the thing, everything's going to melt. And I'm like, yo, man, this is just like, come on, man. Like, do better than this. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, and I think y'all are going to hear this review before you hear my review on Godzilla Minus One. I saw Godzilla Minus One first, and that is a good example of them taking something that could have been very tired. It could have been very tired and whack, and they brought a fresh perspective to it, and it was a period piece, which is wild when you think about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what they're doing with these superhero movies anymore. This is just, I didn't enjoy myself. I don't want to have to watch these anymore. I want to watch other movies. I want to watch stuff that's more compelling, that's good. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie was fantastic. That's an animated movie about superheroes. That was good. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was very good. Another animated film. I just think that there's a direction that these movies could pivot, and maybe they would be a lot better, but they put so much investing into live action and creating multiverses and creating cinematic universes that it just feels like they have to commit to something that just doesn't work. And honestly, they said that they diminished Amber Heard's part in this. I thought she had a lot of movie, honestly, to work with. Watching it, I was like, oh, I thought they were going to cut her. And there was a few times where I was like, man, they're not going to give her much to do. And they gave her lines. She was doing as much as I expected. And I think they said originally she was going to have a bigger role. I don't know how much bigger it could have been in this very, very, very bad movie. And to her credit, I thought she did fine. I'm not mad at Amber Heard. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, Johnny Depp. I'm not mad at Amber Heard. Like, do your thing. They probably both did some. You know what? I'm not even going to get into it. I don't care. I saw her. I felt no animosity toward her whatsoever. Get your bag. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just really didn't enjoy it. With all of that being said, I got to rate these movies. This one was a 1 of 5 stars. I didn't like it. I don't want to see it again. I don't think anyone should see it. I think you could just skip this one. This is not a Christmas one. Like, you're not going to enjoy it. Your kids might trick themselves into enjoy it, then watch it years later and be like, that was kind of trash, Dad. Be like, yeah, son, well, you made me bring you to it on Christmas, and I really wanted to see Godzilla Minus One, and you said that's stupid. And now you always want to watch Godzilla Minus One with me. I'm just imagining a scenario in which I'm having this argument with my child, but I think you guys get my point. I think y'all get my point. Not good. 1 of 5 stars. And with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of Oh It's Big Ron Studios. Alexandra Ketch of Bias Studios mixes the show. Thank you, Alex. Show art from Heather Wilder. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. For more information about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, check out our show notes. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or Threads at Oh It's Big Ron. That's at OHITS BIGRON. You can find out more about this show and other Oh It's Big Ron Studios shows by following us on Instagram at Oh It's Big Ron Studios and on Twitter at Oh It's Big Ron Stu. That's STEW. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. Thanks for listening. And it feels like, except for being, this guy just rode by on a bike and gave me a long look, and I thought I was about to get into a fight, but it did not happen.